We're cruising today with Heather Horton. She's the proprietor of Sweet Designs and Toast restaurant in Pittsburg, Kansas. Why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself? Where'd you grow up?
So I am from Girard, Kansas, not too far from here. I grew up there my whole life. Actually, when I was way smaller, my family had a restaurant and we lived in Farlington, Kansas, before we moved to Girard. But my family, everybody, Roger's family, my husband Roger, they're all from Girard too, so Girard natives. But yeah, so grew up at Farlington Lake, on the lake, and worked at the restaurant, helped my parents, slept at the restaurant when it was too late.
Wow.
Got up, poured coffee for the people who would come first thing in the morning and go to school, come back, help do dishes, all that kind of thing. So it's kind of in my blood, I guess. When we'd start coming in on north, coming in from the north, driving south as we are now, I could start to see the lights. And you'd see them from far away because it was usually at night, at dark, and there's always that excitement of just seeing those lights of the city, and you could see the best, and just, getting really excited, like, and they would never tell me what we were doing. So they'd never tell me we're going to dinner or we're going, to a movie or whatever, so it was always just like, what are we gonna go do in this big city? When we were talking about school and stuff, that was the first thing. Obviously, you're gonna go check out Pitt State, and I've been here ever since.
So you did end up going to Pitt State then?
I got my undergrad in the art department and my master's in the communication department. So.
Well, I was going to ask.
Been there a while.
Yeah, I guess
there a while.
So you've been around Pittsburgh for a long time.
Yeah. As I went to college, I started helping her do cakes. She's the one that asked me to help. So we started decorating cakes, and I liked it. I could use my artistic skills. I could sketch up, anything I wanted to do, and then bring it to life in frosting. So I thought that was pretty rad.
That is cool. That is cool.
Although when I graduated with my undergrad, I was still kind of not sure what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I went and looked at a gallery in Chicago, and we talked about, I went and toured, Hallmark. I had a friend that worked there. Just wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I quickly realized I didn't really want to work for anyone else. So,
it's good to recognize that early.
Yeah.
And this is your first place, your first business, and your residence, right?
Yes. So we live upstairs.
Redoing the front of it.
Yeah, it's a little worse for wear right now, but we're getting ready to do a paint job and revamp a little bit. But yeah, so we live there, and that's where we started Sweet Designs Cakery in 2009. 2009.
Wow.
I'm terrible with timelines. But yeah, so I went to get my master's because I didn't know what the heck I wanted to do, and then we started the business while I was getting my master's.
And still running with it.
Still running with it.
Yeah.
Taught culinary at PHS for a little while. That's where the food kind of really started to come into the business. Block 22 happened, and just all kind of snowballed from there. And now we own a restaurant and a bakery.
That's exciting. But when you started Sweet Designs Cakery, the downtown was not. It wasn't dead, but it wasn't really booming like it is right now. So you're kind of a bit of a pioneer in the early resurgence of the downtown. So
yes.
What was it like when you started it out?
You would look down the street and you wouldn't see a soul. There wasn't anyone out walking around. Most of the businesses were empty. The storefronts were empty. It was pretty sad for a little while. Kind of being the only retail walk-in sort of place. I know we had a couple coffee shops over which was great. But then I think Signet came along because I know we were out like cleaning off our windows or painting or something, and they were visiting, and so Leah stopped by and started talking to Roger outside about, hey, how's this area, and do you like it here, and you know, just asking questions.
So Leah's kind of doing her homework, checking out with the local businesses.
Yeah, they visited, checked it out. We talked to them, and then probably less than a year, then they opened, and then after that, it just kind of, you know, more and more started to come along. So we definitely thought about moving to a bigger city, but it became very apparent that, you know, we can make more of an impact in a smaller community, a smaller town. I always laugh because I'm educated, I went to school, I don't need it. But, you know, my dad's like, why did we spend all that money? I'm like, well, you know what? I'm educated, and I made a lot of connections. I met a lot of people, and a lot of them still support me today. So, like Rona Shan, she was one of my professors in college. She has a tattoo shop downtown now. Jamie Oliver, he is still at the college. I think he runs the department now, but I see him every Friday. They come in, get bread, him and his family. So, and then Dr. Drew, Shirley Drew, she was one of my professors when I was getting my master's degree. She kind of helped me see the world differently from a communication perspective. So like just observing people, observing spaces, like all of that. And you can bring all of that into your everyday life and your business, but she comes in all the time. I see her at least once a week. So
that's
her and Jim. So I do laugh, you know, why did I need a degree to open a restaurant? Well, I feel like it's more than that, and you know, you create those bonds over time, and they're still there supporting us. So pretty much everything you can think of, I dabbled in it along the way. Painting, photography. And with photography, I do use that today, you know?
Oh yeah. You were able to kind of start up the art walk. Is there you want to talk about that a little bit? How did that idea come to you?
In my undergraduate, we had to have shows and do, you know, projects and stuff, and Lastacia Ross at the time had the Wishing Tree, which is where Books and Brew is now.
Oh yeah.
So she was there, and she had this cute shop, you know, a little retail shop. And I remember as a high schooler going into her shop and shopping. And so over time I got to know her a little bit, and she had some space in the back, and we put up a little gallery. We did that for a show, and then her husband at the time and we all kind of just decided, like, hey, we need to have this event. We need an art event. We all would go to other towns and see, you know, their First Fridays or their whatever, you know, artistic events that they're having, and we wanted to have something here. So
well, let's talk about that a little bit. What's important about, you know, having art in your culture, in your culture in the town where you're from?
To me, having art in your community definitely brings a vibrancy and a life to it that nothing else does. Art spans across all demographics. You know, everybody, no matter what, can find something they like when it comes to art. We are going through some changes. We have, in the last year, we've stopped doing retail at the bakery. Roger has been focusing on bread baking, so he bakes all the bread.
First time I went into Toast, and bought a freshly made baguette in Pittsburg, Kansas, I just felt like Pittsburg had arrived. I can't tell you how important that was for me. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in France, and I traveled quite a bit, and just having those baguettes, which are very authentic, by the way, they're very authentic baguettes.
Yeah, and that's something when we traveled, you know, we always go find the bakery. Always want that fresh bread, so it was important to us. And then opening our restaurant called Toast, you want to make your own bread. That's kind of important. So,
and it makes a difference too. It really does, having that fresh bread. We're kind of coming up on the Colonial Fox. You said you'd had some involvement with that project.
Yeah, so when it was on the tax auction list, a group of folks got together to help save it. And like I said, Roger's a musician, so he got a group of musicians together, and they did a couple fundraisers to raise some funds, and I helped, you know, committees and that sort of thing. And then we were around when the very first board was created. I actually made the logo for the Colonial Fox Foundation.
Wow. That's great.
And so we helped save the building, helped kind of get that rolling, and then Rona Shand was a part of that as well over time. And then Vonnie came along, and she's still at it. I had to step away. Obviously, running a business takes up a lot of time, but we still support it. And then we're really looking forward to having it open. All of our businesses are, you know, that can only help the town even more, having a thriving theater. So. But we're driving past Farmers Market, which will always have a place in my heart. So they sell produce on the weekends, and we actually buy 2 CSAs from them, from 2 of the farmers, to use at the restaurant. So,
nice.
And then if I need something else, I come down, and if I need lettuce, I come get lettuce. Or
I know you try to locally source as much as possible.
Yeah. I feel like so much has changed over time, and it's been a gradual change, which I think is good. There's been some things that are like, bam, where'd that come from? And it's already here, but gradual. I know Roger and I were talking about this morning, and we think it'll continue to gradually grow. We think there's going to be a transformation, and it's not going to be that Pittsburgh in 2009, you know. It's not there now, but it's definitely not going to be there in 10 years. It's going to be a transformation. It's going to be, I don't know, I foresee every single spot on these blocks full.
Well, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for cruising with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Anything else you want to tell everybody while you're being recorded?
Oh man, I mean, we're always doing stuff. Follow the Downtown page. There's always cool stuff on there. Follow, the Toast page. We're on all social media. We try to promote everything that's going on downtown and in town. So we're excited for the future and all the changes that we're getting ready to make. And
We're glad to have you, and we're glad that you really were an integral part of what really kicked it off.
Thank you.